We are back with Officer Tom Fetzer with the Greensboro Police Department's Traffic Safety Unit discussing rules of the road, and we're taking your questions. You can submit them right there by texting 336-379-5775. So if there is a number to text if you're riding with someone who makes you feel unsafe instead of calling 911, what number is that?
Well, you could call our non-emergency number, but I mean, in that particular case, if you're driving with someone that's maybe impaired or driving careless and reckless, I would be more inclined. You're going to get a fast response if you call 911. I mean, and if you're able to give a location or text a location and a vehicle description, then that would be very advantageous for us as far as our response and being able to get there. But you know, in that particular situation, if you're driving with someone and you don't want to be in that car for whatever reason, whether it be impaired or careless and reckless, then you're going to want the fast response, and that's going to be 911.
Okay, that is good. That is a viewer question that we had. We want you to feel free to ask your questions as well. In the meantime, I've got a question when it comes to like tint on your driver's windows, like the front, the sides, that kind of stuff. How do we know if our tint is legal or illegal?
So it's hard for just a regular driver or consumer to know if their tint is legal or not. I mean, we have tint meters, but I mean, the law in North Carolina is you have to be at 35% or higher. And there, on the windshield, no tint. There's a little line on every windshield. If you'll look up in the top left-hand corner that says AS1, any tint below that line is illegal. And from my understanding, North Carolina inspection stations have been really under the gun this year. The state is really cracking down on illegal tint. They're cracking down on the inspection stations that are passing this illegal tint. So, you know, it used to be in the past, if you know a guy or a girl that will pass you, that may not be the case anymore because it seems like the state's really cracking down on this.
Okay, let's talk about left-hand lane drivers. So I commute a lot, so I'm on the interstate often, and there's people who like to just camp out in that left-hand lane, and there's like a whole string of cars behind them. Is it illegal for them to do that, or is it just not a good practice?
So if that car is driving the speed limit or higher, then it's not illegal. It may not be the safest practice, but it's not illegal. Now, if that car is driving below the speed limit, there is no minimum speed limit law in North Carolina. I'm sure if anybody's traveled to South Carolina on their highways, they'll see a minimum speed limit. If you go at that speed limit or below, then it's against the law. That's not the case in North Carolina. However, if you're in the far left lane or any lane for that matter, and you're driving below the speed limit, and it presents a significant danger if cars are having to slow down or merge to the left or the right to pass you, then that is impeding traffic, and that is a charge. But again, it's not a very safe practice to camp out, like you said, in the left lane, going slower than all the other traffic. Just merge to the right and just if somebody wants to go faster, then allow them to go faster. That's on them. That's up to them, and they have to face the consequences if they get stopped.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So this person is asking, who do I call about speeding in a residential neighborhood?
So you can contact the Greensboro Police Department. You can contact our non-emergency number, which is on our website, and you can talk to somebody that will direct you to an email that you can send in, or you can leave a voicemail. And what we'll do is, if it's a legitimate traffic complaint, then we'll come out and we'll address it, whether that be enforcement or placing radar signs or doing some type of speed measuring survey or something along those lines.
All right. I know you mentioned that if you get those 5 points on your driver's license for passing a stopped school bus, it doesn't come off for 3 years. This may be something you have to look up. I'm not sure. Someone's asking, how many years does it take to remove points if your license was suspended for a year?
Yeah, I'm not sure if I can answer that question because I believe that I believe the answer is going to vary depending on what the suspension was for. And that's really a DMV question because DMV they govern everything that has to do with the driver's license and how many points and what the length of suspension is. From my understanding, it varies depending on the violation and the severity of the violation.
Gotcha. Okay. The next question is, can we text 911 instead of calling 911?
Yes.
So
Yes, you
you're able
can.
to do that. Okay. So if you're in a
Yes.
car, remember you had said that before, if you're in a car and you feel unsafe or whatever, you can always text 911 if you can't physically call them. Since I drive on the interstate so often, this is something that I see a lot too. People go to get onto the interstate and they're in the merge lane, but then they stop at the end. So what should we be doing?
So yeah, that is a personal pet peeve of mine as well. I'm sure a lot of other people. That lane is actually called an acceleration lane, is the legal definition for it. And what you're supposed to be doing in that lane is accelerating to the posted speed limit, or at least near the posted speed limit, and at that time merge into traffic at that speed. If you're trying to merge into traffic from, let's say, 10 or 20 miles per hour or slower, or even a dead stop, if you're trying to merge into 70-mile-an-hour traffic, I mean, that is incredibly dangerous. Other cars on the highway that are already on the highway aren't expecting that. And so my advice is you merge up to the posted speed limit or close to the posted speed limit, look for your lane, turn your signal on, and then merge into the lane safely.
Okay. And then we've got another question. Someone's asking, do they have to stop for a funeral procession?
No, no, there is no law that governs having to stop for a funeral procession. If anybody has approached a funeral procession in the South, then you'll see cars that'll stop or slow on the side of the road, and that's just common courtesy. But there's no law that governs that.
Okay, now on the flip side of this, someone's asking this question: is pulling over for emergency vehicles required by law, even if you're traveling in the opposite direction?
So if you're traveling in the opposite direction, it's not required by law for you to pull over. However, if an emergency vehicle is approaching you with lights and siren, you have no idea where that vehicle is going. You have no idea if that vehicle is continuing straight, if it's going to make a right turn, if it's going to make a left turn. So even if I'm in my personal vehicle and an ambulance or fire truck or police are approaching me, then I will come to a complete stop on the shoulder or as far to the side of the road, because I have no idea where the car is going. It may need to turn left in front of me to get to wherever they're going, and I don't want to impede that. So, but there is no law that governs cars traveling in the opposite direction to stop or slow down for emergency vehicles.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, we're going to take a quick break from this. We've got one more segment for you to be able to ask your questions.